Hello there and welcome back to voice acting lessons number 8. Today's lesson is ages. It is how old is this character and how would that kind of character sound? Because it's not just putting yourself in a range, right? Because
if I start talking up here, this is the same range as like a kid area, but this doesn't sound like a kid. It's too open, it's too bright. It allows for a lot of like actual vocal understanding, and that's not how children talk.
like if I start talking around here, this is still the area that an older woman would be in. But the problem is that in regards to how you would talk, in order to sound older, you have to do stuff with your voice. In particular, for children, and I'm only going to use the normal speaking voice for this. For normal speaking voice for children, what you're going to want to do is you're going to kind of want to stumble over your words and just kind of make it a little bit weird. You're just kind of trying to control that mouth as much as possible and just make it as like short and like puffy as possible. Also, with all of your words, you kind of just want to stumble over them, and you want to like make those expressions longer. So instead of saying I love you, you say I loves you. If you want to sound like a kid, you gotta figure out how you're gonna have to do a talk. See, you don't talk like a normal, you have to talk like a weird. It's a little bit strange. They don't know a lot of words. They have to figure out how to say things. So when you're reading the script, you gotta figure out ways to make those kind of more kid-like. In regards to that, a good writer will have a script that has those little things inside of them. But if you really want to sell, you have to figure out how to make those kinds of things happen, either through improvisational work, by doing on-the-spot editing of the words, or you have to figure out like ways to showcase the youngness. And you'll do that through the stumbling, you'll do that through the unsure, the uncertain. Kids are out there, yeah. There are some kids who are like hyperactive and all that kind of stuff. And it's like being able to do that kind of stuff is also kind of a thing, but you gotta still have the same kind of stumbling over your words. Because even though you're doing a kid who's kind of energetic, you gotta throw all those things inside of them. It's just kind of a thing you gotta do. Now, for older people, a lot of them tend to be a lot more breathy. They tend to use a lot more air when they speak, and a lot of them are in a mild amount of pain. So what I end up doing is I'll suck in my stomach, because what that does is it limits the amount of voice that I have in my diaphragm, and so suddenly I start sounding a lot more reserved and a lot more out of breath. And from that point forward, it's a little bit easier to do that. I kind of already sound like I'm a little bit older already just by doing this. Now, of course, you can, alter the way that you sound in your voice and just change things up a little bit. You have to figure out where that voice sits. Now, a lot of this can be overdone because if I do this, if I push it in, all of a sudden I start sounding a lot less old woman and very much like I'm panicking or in pain. And of course, the same is true of the opposite for the kiddos. Because then they just start sounding like you're just a garbled mess, like you're eating peanut butter. And that's not what you're going for. But the thing is that all of these are different types of ages, and you can figure out and play around, and most of this just comes from listening to like how older people talk or how younger people talk, and just focus on those little bitty details and then playing them up. A lot of it's exaggeration work and all of that. But that's kind of that is today's lesson. I know this is a short one. It's only like 5 minutes or so like that, but that's today's lesson. Hope you all have a good rest of your day. I love you. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.